Oh, we're live. We're in the dark. There we go. Man, this camera's way better. That's pretty cool. Get some people in here. Notifications. Ratman, you're the first one. X1. X1. How's your vacation going? Huh? Get some people in there and then I'll read the comments. I gotta strain my eyes. Oh, I think it's funny how live. I don't know why they do that. Hilton, what's up? So, I guess the topic of discussion is the swatting thing, right? Yeah, kind of sucks. All right, let's see. Let's got Ratman, Big Houston, Ralph Floto, Kevin and Ollie, Trucker for Life, Steelers fan, TJ Jones, Hilton, Pitbull Gator, Pigtail, Steelers fan, already said that. You're off to Perth next Thursday. Okay. You should call me before you go overseas. Southbound J, The Scribe, Pale Rider, Anthony T, Denny. Got a couple of cool hats headed your way. Well, thank you, Ratman. Hey, you notice you got a wrench now, Ratman? You have power. You have power in this room. So, if anybody's going through Missouri tomorrow, let me know. And maybe we'll hang out in Joplin or something. Hello, brother. Call sign KEOWQ. You know, I've always been curious about the ham radio stuff. I almost thought my son was going to get into it because Bass Pro had this event in Springfield, and the ham radio operator group, some local group, was there, and my son has a liking for electronics, and I thought maybe he'd get interested in that. And I've got like 58 CB radios at the house, you know. So, Thomas Wilson, no, I'm not at Schneider anymore, Ben Denny. I'll catch you up. I'm at Like Trucking. I went and bought a trailer and entered the spot market. So, if you're still in Joplin, where are you heading there, Big Houston? I'll be in Joplin around 1300, says Big Tail. Cool. I'll be there at some point, PM on the way home. He's still at Landstar. Mayor Hager, do you recommend truck driving's career change? Seems like the market is good right now. It depends. As a company driver, companies are paying really well now. But as far as the market being good, it just depends on your perspective. But I will say this, if you're thinking about entering truck driving as a career, you have, in my opinion now, you have to have a kind of passion for something, whether it be the driving aspect, the traveling aspect, because you're going to be treated like a second-class citizen. You're going to be treated, you're the low man on the totem pole when you go to a company. More likely you'll have to start at a school or at a company that hires out of CDL school. And if you have small children at home, or that would get you home every other weekend, if not every weekend. And that's hard to find straight out of CDL school. I got lucky. I went with a company called Transland out of Springfield, Missouri, and they had me home every other weekend. And I think that really made a difference on a lot of things. I've never been that guy that had to be out a month at a time. It is Pale Rider's fault. You don't have a load yet? Best thing I've been a CB guy since I was 12 years old. Great thing to get into electronics hobby if If your kid likes it, is a good thing. Yeah, you still a Swift. Are you in England? Looks like you're on the right side of the truck. That's weird, Thomas. Big Trucker B did a story on Pale Rider swatting. Well, that's cool, Anthony. Oh, you saw me on the bike? Yeah, that bike video was actually done 2 months ago. And I had that footage. I thought I lost that footage because I got really frustrated one day. Deleted a bunch of stuff, and I thought I accidentally deleted that. When I found it, I put it together real quick, asked my daughter if she was cool with that being on YouTube, and she's like, yeah, sure. And so I kind of used it as an opportunity to do a motivational thing about weight loss, you know? Because we need more positive videos out here. We need more positivity in the YouTube universe. You know, a lot of people are talking about the toxicity of the trucking YouTube universe. And it doesn't have to be that way. If you follow the right people, it's not toxic. Look, I mean, you can clean up your Facebook newsfeed. You can clean up your YouTube newsfeed. And a lot of people don't like positivity. I mean, I'm surprised I don't have thumbs down on that video, you know? BLR, how you feeling, son? I'm feeling pretty good, man. I am. I'm currently a manager for a large retailer looking for possibly changing. Well, Mayor Hagar, it's how old are you? I mean, why is that important? Because if you're in your late 50s, if you have a passion for trucking or for trucks, you know, I would do as much research as possible and not rely on just, you know, YouTube. I would look into, you know, and don't believe like stuff like Ice Road Truckers. A lot of it's mundane, boring, but if you're single or if your spouse can come, if you make it a career change, have an exit plan just in case it doesn't work out, because the odds of truck drivers, new drivers come out in the field lasting their first year are very low. The odds are against you, and that's a fact. That's, you know, the average retention rate for a new driver is 1.5 years. How do I get a job like yours, Thomas? That's easy, man. You write a big check for a truck, put some stickers on the side, go to work, man. Get a step in the truck, Mr. Wilson. Rick Jones, what's up? Works for me because I love driving. I hate crowds, right? Mayor, it just depends. I mean, in my particular group in truck, you know, in the truck, you know, CDL school, they put you at like 3 of you in a truck. There was a gal whose husband worked for Yellow Roadway, and she didn't need to be doing the CDL thing. She was just doing it as kind of a dare, I think. And then the other guy was an office worker who thought it'd be cool, right? He lasted 1 month on his own and realized it wasn't for him. And there's so many factors. If you have a bad trainer, if you start with a bad company, people that could have done really well out here but didn't because they went to the wrong company and they were treated badly. There's like if you go back to my live feeds, look up the one I did with bigrigceo. He tells the story of when he was at PAM. And, you know, and I was very blessed with a good trainer, and I was very blessed with a good company for the first time out. Brandon White, what's up? Is that an Invicta watch? No. Subscribe to Next Gen. Can I borrow your trailer for a couple of days? Yep, $500 a day, Thomas. That's what I charge. You're 40? Hey, you're at a good age. You know, if you got small kids at home, I'd kind of maybe wait. Billy Rains, what's up? Ratman is putting up Pale Rider's link for his article on his swatting. Ratman is tough on trailers. But you know what? You need to borrow a trailer. I'll loan you my trailer, Rat Man. I'll get the video camera out and watch you put that dually on this thing, right? US 69 is the speed bump of many miles. And watching this, you can test your equipment on US 69 Oklahoma. You're going tomorrow and buy that truck. What's her name? I don't name my truck. I mean, I take it back. This truck has been coined Mean Green, right? I didn't really have a name for the Peterbilt other than Money Pit. That was a good name for it. But every truck's a money pit. Every truck is a money pit. That is a fact. I don't care if you got a brand new truck. I don't care if you've got a 1987 Peterbilt cabover or a 2014 Kenworth T680. Every truck is a money pit if you own it. I'm in truck, Gator. Ghost Rider, man. I'm seeing a lot of gently pressed like that. That's pretty good. Mono, I looked at that YouTube channel that you told me real quick. Very interesting. I'll have to check that out. How much interaction do you get with the people you deliver to? It depends. I mean, some places you pick up and like you're on a phone, like an old school phone, and you're talking like they won't even talk to you, right? And then other times, you know, you're in the trailer with them, you know, hanging out with the forklift driver. It depends, but you are treated like a second-class citizen. That is a fact. Everybody agree with me in this? You are treated like a second-class citizen, especially dry van, reefer world. Jeff is in the house. Pigtail, who'd you send an email to? Michael, semi-truck driver, what's up? I actually started getting into your channel once you started doing keto. I respect that. I lost a lot of weight doing keto and intermittent fasting. Right. And I'm about to do some more fasting because I had to have a temporary crown put on. And I got to wait 3 weeks for the permanent one. And I got to be really careful what I eat. So for dinner, I had sausage, ground sausage, and some cheese. That's all I had. And yogurt. That's all I had. Not my Ford. Senate. Right on. This is, all right. Southbound J. I've been with my company almost 14 years. I'll probably stay. Just always looking at what else is out there. I don't know. I think that there's a lot more to it than driving. You know, it's not as enjoyable in some ways as you think. I liked it from a kid, you know, from when I was a kid. So I think that me having a passion and being second generation has made it a lot easier to deal with some of the stuff that we deal with, especially as an owner-operator. Trucking is a weird business. I was talking to a friend of mine today about there was a CEO of Transland who had just taken over, and he was the son of the guy that started the company. And this guy has built other companies from the ground up to multi-million-dollar companies. But he didn't really know a whole lot about the trucking industry. He took it over as the CEO. He was dumbfounded by a lot of things that he didn't really understand or know. And said it was a very tricky, weird business. Things that were common sense weren't, and things that were not common sense seemed to work. It was very strange to him. But he seems to have it down now. Must hit the rack 0500 delivery. Night all. All right, Kevin. I think I know where you're going. Oh, you sent me an email? Okay, Pigtail. Mr. Jeff, T680, 455 Packard, 10-speed full gauges, electronics, nav, and dash. 339K has doors on both sides. The sleeper 2015 looks like it just came off assembly line. 56K dropped 10K yesterday. Yeah, we are glad that Keith is okay. The swatting thing, I talked about the swatting thing last Saturday. There's a YouTube channel called Police Activity, right? And it doesn't take much for a cop to draw his gun and shoot. And when the cops get a phone call that someone just shot or murdered somebody, you're on high alert. You got adrenaline going. And there's no telling what that adrenaline will do. You know? And that could have ended badly. I mean, it really could have, with the dog barking and everything else, you know. It was really a scary moment when we saw the cop, you know, rummaging around the room that Pale Rider was just in. After, what, 5 or 6 or 10 minutes? Love the morning coffee videos with the motivational talk. I'm behind on them. I think I'm on 31 or 32. I've been kind of being lazy doing this live thing. So it's just like sometimes I'm so overwhelmed by all the stuff I have to take care of at my business, and then I get deliveries and see the guys who just dropped off. I think, wow, that must be nice. Well, here's what you do, Mayor. You talk to those drivers, and here's the secret to being successful at trucking. You ready? Attitude. You have to have the right attitude, because this job will put you through your ringer. It will. That doesn't make sense. That was stupid. Erase that. This job will put some hair on your nuts. You know, this job will test your time, patience. It'll test you. And it's one of the top 10 dangerous jobs in America. You know, you don't sleep right, you don't eat right, you're on somebody else's schedule. The whole road of freedom, that's a lot of BS. There's not really a whole lot of freedom. There is and there isn't. But it's all about attitude. And the worse your attitude, the harder this job is. And that goes with anything in life, you know. And I've talked about that in my coffee videos about, you know, when I was a bus driver, and how the guys, the drivers with the good attitudes did better with their routes and their kids, and the ones that had crappy attitudes were always having to call security, always having to clean up their bus of vandalism and all that kind of stuff. It is far beyond being a joke. I took down the live feed I did. It's been said that after a week or so, you want to take down live feeds because it screws up your analytics, which I don't do that. But I don't know. My live feed was kind of pointless this morning, so I don't know. So, Steve, what's your plan when you have had enough of trucking? Would you consider being a broker? Screaming Demon, I don't know. I want to be in business in some kind of capacity, but I don't think a brokerage is it. There's too many. I think by the time I truck, I'm going to be sick of the game, the whole broker game. And if what other brokers have told me is true, I don't know if I could be that way towards a fellow driver. I think if anything, I would be a dispatcher, work in the human resource department at a company, something like that. But I kind of want to do my own business, you know, whether it be trucking, selling records, doing something, you know. I'm trying to get into maybe some possible investments as an exit plan or additional income to make the trucking thing easier. It's been in top 3 a few times. I believe it when I hear some of these Coke drivers talk about delivering in the heart of downtown. It makes my heart race. Yeah. I see the government has banned the sale of flavored e-cigarettes. Really? I didn't know I'm going to dispatch 2 drivers, says Bandit. Attitude is everything in everything, including life. You're a great inspiration to many new drivers. Hi, Jeff and James. You two crap, CPAP. Why do drivers crap on stall walls? That happens everywhere. You know how many times I've been in Walmart and grossed out? You know, where there's no truck drivers? I used to work at a restaurant. And I used to work for Piccadilly Cafeteria. That was my first job. And sometimes one of them old people didn't quite make it to see. And that became very gross. Were you nervous when you took that leap to the spot market, Truck for Life? No. Well, a little bit. Let me take it back. A little bit. But you have to get outside your comfort zone. I don't mind making the next steps, you know, the next few steps, or the next step above wherever I'm at in life. But I do it more calculated, right? I knew that buying a trailer was a decent investment, and I knew that buying a trailer brand new wasn't going to put my cost above something maintainable. And Jeff is the only carrier that I was trusting at that time to even do that. I was happy at Schneider, right? I did okay at Schneider, and I saw an opportunity to expand beyond the orange box. So was I nervous? Yeah. I remember the first night I had the trailer, I had the new ELD system in the truck. Is that I didn't have this orange umbrella over me, right? I didn't have a network of 50,000 trailers, or 2,000 other owner operators in the same network. I was on my own, and the only person I'm really answering to is Jeff, and that's still the case. So there was a sense of independence, but at the same time, it was like, okay, this is for real. I can only imagine what it's like to get your own authority, and to have that, like, to go from like Schneider to your own authority is a huge jump, and I can only imagine what that feels like. But I was a little bit nervous, right? Now Trump wants to ban flavors. If they ban vape, you're going to go insane. Dispatching is easy as long as your board is decent, drivers. Yeah, Michigan banned them a few days ago. Flavor cigarettes, now the federal government. So, like right now, are you waiting to be unloaded? How much time do you have to spend waiting? Mayor, the biggest commodity that someone has in their life is time. And trucking wastes a lot of time. A lot of time. Right now, I'm at a truck stop. I'm doing my 10-hour break, and Hill Rider wanted me to go live, so I'm live. But depending on what field of trucking you're going into, there's a lot of waiting, or reading, like me. Just sold my rate for a minute drive, man. What areas do I want to be running? I'm coming out of Sioux City, Iowa. USD 70, 80. Midwest, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois. Those will have the best rates. Arkansas sometimes. Tennessee, I-55, I-70, I-57. Chicagoland. Columbus. I would stay, if you don't want to deal with tolls, I would stay west of Pennsylvania. If you do Texas, know that you're going to get hit out, a hit coming out. Um, you know, you're going to do a lot of like consumable goods, you know, like drinks, beverages, stuff like that. Paper, you know, but the Midwest is where it's at on that kind of stuff. You just want to take that next step. Truck for life. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, whether you've asked for it or not. The first goal, and this is for any Schneider IC, especially if you're SFI, the first goal that you should have is to reduce your costs. Okay? The spot market is a lot easier to deal with when your costs are lower. So the first goal is to get into your own truck if you can't refinance, because it's all about the net. Whether you're grossing $4,000 a week at Schneider or $4,000 a week in the spot market, if you're only taking home $800, $900 a week, it's kind of pointless, right? So the first rule in any business is to keep your overhead low. That might require getting a different truck or refinancing your truck. Okay? That should be the first priority, because you're going to need your own IRP plate and you're going to need your own trailer. Some companies like Advance provide a trailer, but then you have other costs. Companies like Advanced Travel, they have other costs associated with running the spot market that Schneider does not have. Schneider, yes, you do pay for an IRP plate. It's about $40 a week. That's about the going rate. Mine's about the same as it was when I was at Schneider. Some companies like to charge you for cargo liability. Most of them do, actually. And so that increases your cost to about, most of the spot market companies that I see, and not us, because the way we do it is different, but a lot of them, your fixed costs can run anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a week extra than what you guys at Schneider pay. That was one of the reasons why I didn't feel nervous coming over here, because Jeff doesn't charge like that, right? So that should be your first goal. Get into your own truck. Number one, here's what will happen. If you can cut your truck cost in half, now you're taking home more money. Work the same exactly as you do now at Schneider, right? And then you can start stacking money. And so when you do come out to the spot market, you come out right. You come out with money in the bank. You know, I of course had a big truck repair right after that. But cut your operation cost down as much as you can. And if you can't, you have to figure out why you can't and figure that out first. All you're doing is changing the color of the grass coming out in the spot market with the same expenses, if not adding more expenses. You know, Raptor Man will tell you that, right? But if you can lower your costs, then now the pressure's not onto you at Schneider, and then you can really stack with the money. So when you do come out in the spot market, boom, you're ready to go. Because there is a learning curve. The only similarity you have with the Schneider IC Choice Program and the spot market, the only similarity is that you choose your own loads. That's it. Everything else is different. It's a different ball game dealing with hookers. It's a different ball game dealing with non-dropping hooks. But the first rule of thumb is to get your costs down. Yes, Mayor. I asked Jeffrey a few months ago after he got his authority how he liked it, and he said he should have done it years ago. Right, Anthony, there's a lot of people that say that. Little guy is going to go crazy, no vaping. Yeah. I wound up switching the Juul from, okay, we're talking about vaping. $800 a week is double what I'm making as a security guard. Steelers fan. vaping will be regulated, but a full ban probably not. I always wish security jobs would pay more, especially now with all the crazy BS going on, right? I don't have that much cost at home. I don't have any payments at home, rent and light bills, that's all. Yeah, but the thing is, Schneider is going to charge you a lot of money to move that truck. So if you're going to spend $5,000 to $7,000 to move it to a spot market company, why can't you take that same amount of money down towards a truck that you don't have to worry about MMA? You can do what you want, and again, you're learning. Think about this: if your house costs are low, and then your running operation is low, think of how much money you can make. I would love to do that. I would love to have, you know, half my truck payment cut in half, and then have no home expenses. I could really stack it up. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. Why don't you want to do that? I mean, are you married to that truck? Do you love that truck? There are a lot of good right now. The used market's about the wide open because prices are dropping. Thomas Wilson was talking about it earlier. You know, if you're going to go in, as Provost always said, if you go in, go all in, you know. And while there are advantages to leasing, I would think that there's a cheaper lease out there than the Schneider Finance. That's just my think about Steve Berger, right? Steve Berger, if you follow anybody at Schneider, follow Steve Berger. He'll tell you he went from a Schneider Finance truck to his own truck. And he worked exactly the same, but he's bringing home more money, right? Why wouldn't you want that? You know what I mean? Eating out of the truck is a biggie on help keeping the costs low. Exactly, Paul. That's exact. A lot of people don't consider. Well, a lot of people don't consider that. A lot of people like go, well, you know, my phones cost this much, my house costs this much. You know, they figure out every expense. One of the other benefits is that I'm spending less money in the truck stops, right? And I'm eating good food. Congrats on your weight loss. You're doing a great job. I have weight issues when I'm looking into keto diet as well, but keep up the good work. John, if you just start with just taking out carbs, processed carbs, no sugar, no starch, no flour, you'll start losing weight. I promise you. I promise you, you'll start losing weight. This phone likes to refocus. I'm going to see about refinancing. I understand, but Truck for Life, James Best has talked about that. The way Schneider Finance works is if you end your lease early, they're only going to charge you the full $5,000 if you want to do payments. But if you have a lump sum, let's say $1,000, they'll take that, and then boom, you're good. You can ask Kevin and Ollie. You can ask Jason Perry. You can ask there's a couple other people that you can ask about that. So think about this, right? I would look at the refinancing scenario if you can. But I know people that got rid of their SFI truck knowing that they'd be paying that $5,000. And if you got it in your maintenance account, they'll take it from that first. So it's money you won't even see. But either way, you got to have a stack of cash to move that truck, whether it's to get your own truck or whether it's to move that particular truck to a spot market company. You know, I know that you were talking about going to Landstar. I would almost recommend Landstar to get used to calling agents and brokers, and I think it's cheaper to move the truck to Landstar. I think. I could be wrong. But I think that the first rule is to reduce your costs. I don't care what your costs are at home. Refinancing is, you know, something to look at. And I know that truck costs a lot of money. I know that those new P3s are like close to $1,500 a week. You pay a week, but I pay a month for my truck. Federal Services, do you drink Monster? I've become hooked. It helps me fast. I know they're probably unhealthy too. Shake my head. No, Monsters are horrible. No. Hey, what's going on? Sergeant Ringo. I'm still laying low, Thomas. I like to drink beer almost every night too. Guess I'll never be on over the road driver, right? Got 45 one hand, M16 the other. But you know like you gotta have. Here's what I found. Okay, if we're gonna compare Schneider to the spot market, the people that I've seen become successful out here in the spot market that came here from Schneider, if they did well at Schneider, they did okay out here. If they left Schneider on bad terms or because they struggled out here, that's a fact. That is not my opinion. That is what I've seen from all the people I know that came out of Schneider into the spot market. Okay? There's not too many people left that came out to the spot market from Schneider. I'm still out here, but I didn't have an SFI truck. Southbound Day, he's doing well here at Like Trucking, but he works. He works hard. James G, he had a Schneider finance truck and he got it refinanced before he came over here. In order to be successful at any business, you have to have the right attitude and you have to have as low as overhead costs and startup costs as you possibly can. Because when you fall down, and you will, I did, we all do. When you're dealing with that learning curve, you're dealing with those brokers for the first time, you need some kind of cushion to help you out. I'm not discouraging people from coming to the spot market because I believe that everybody should better themselves. But you have to figure out the reasons why you want to better yourself, and you have to have it done right. You have to come out here right. I'm constantly telling a friend of mine, and those of you in our Zella circle know who I'm talking about. He wants to come out here so bad, but he can't come out here right. And that's just setting a person up for failure if you don't come out here right. You know, it's all about cost. The number one thing that takes people out of whether you're Schneider or spot market or Landstar or Traveloco or Advance, I don't care what company you're with. The number one thing that takes the driver out is the cost. If the truck costs 30 grand to fix every 2 months, you're gonna go down. If you buy all these big luxuries at home, you're going to go down. That is not an opinion. That is fact. The more debt you have, the more cost you have, the harder you have to work. And then what's the point? It destroys families. It destroys relationships. It destroys your sanity. It destroys your health. So what are you? You're a slave to your debt. You're a slave to the truck. Okay? And when you're a slave, you're not happy, right? In a balancing act between home time and work, business survival versus thriving, I'm always somewhere in the middle. That's always what I've been. And sometimes I teeter one way and sometimes I teeter another. my needs at home are different than some other people. And so it's a very individualized, there's no blanket answer, right? And if you're a slave, what good is, like, for example, if you have your own authority, right? You answer to no one except the government, right? We all answer to the government. But if your costs are too high and you're constantly having to stay out and you're not getting ahead anywhere, then what's the point? You're making $200,000 a year, but you're only bringing home 20. That's pointless. That's pointless. I talked to Schneider ICs that literally grossed to the truck, not before Schneider's cut, but to the truck, $160,000, $180,000. What was their take home? 45. That's a lot of that's a big, huge difference. But that's the cost of doing business. Claritin is worn off. All right. Going back to the comments here. Wow, you guys have been commenting like crazy. That's why I like talking to you. You always give good answers. Thank you. Truck for Life, you and I just need to stay down and have coffee one time. Yes, monsters are very bad for your health. I was hooked on them for military. It caused me headaches and hands shaking. I know people have been hospitalized for monster drinks. Pale Rider's dog going crazy means something strange is up. That's part of a dog's job. They hear stuff before we do. I'm with Thomas Wilson. I'm armed, answering the door at night when it's unexpected. Right. I hear you. Nailed it. Okay, so good thought. Do you get 2 days off in a row if you're over the road, or does it just depend? It just depends. Sometimes you get 2 days off. Sometimes you get 0 days off. Sometimes you work 80 hours a week or 70 hours a week, and other times you work 20 hours, but you're not home. So it just depends. I don't recommend it for everyone. I had other experience that might have helped me, and yes, I have strong work ethic. It costs more than $5. Southbound Jay has a Schneider finance truck, but here's the thing. He's been driving a long time. He has a positive attitude. And he knew what he was up against, right? And here's the problem with trucking, right? There are success stories that happen that are beyond the norm, that aren't the norm, right? And Southbound Jay is one of those. He's doing well, and he has a strong work ethic, but he has a plan in place, right? Failure to plan is planning to fail. That's what Provost always says. If you ever make it to Massachusetts, I would love to meet up in BS. I haven't been to Massachusetts in a long time. My uncle before he passed away. I did a load to Waterbury, Connecticut. I went to one of those self-driving trucks so I can just ride and look around and see what I've missed. There you go. Lack of Monster Red soda caused my truck wreck. I've talked to some owner-operators that claim you have to be out 2 or 3 months at a time to be profitable. Anthony, you're talking to the wrong people. There are people who put themselves in a position where they feel they have to work 2 or 3 months straight to be profitable. That's the difference. It's all a perception thing. I think I'm going to plug this fan in. I would have the windows open, but This truck's idling next to me, high idle. Get some air circulating. Why don't you turn the APU on, Steve? Because that's just as noisy. So I'd rather just have this fan. This fan costs low, right? Why can't he put up a pic, southbound Jay? No idea what you're talking about. I guess I'm mostly just familiar with the vendor drivers like Coke, Pepsi. It's a lifestyle for you guys. I give you props. I'm on the highway with trucks every day on my way to and from. Right. Why does every TA and Y&J have NSCI playing all the time? Or I don't know, John. That is one of life's great mysteries. I've been inside a TA when the Super Bowl's playing, right? And they're watching Law and Order. And it's like, and they wonder why no one goes in the truck stop anymore. Anthony, look. Any business is about working smarter, not harder, right? The time that you want to work 2 or 3 months straight is if you want to stack up cash to take time off. In other words, I know guys that run 3 months straight so they can take all of winter off. I know guys at Landstar that would literally from December 23rd to February 28th, they would not leave. You know, they would just pay the weekly expenses or monthly expenses Landstar charged them, and they would stack up the cash so they wouldn't have to run in the wintertime. Or if you know that the market's going to take a downturn, then you stay out 2 to 3 months. But as far as like being profitable happens every load. Profit happens at the end of the week. You know, it just depends on the circumstance. And if you have to be out 3 months at a time to make any kind of profit, you're doing something wrong. That's just plain and simple. Bye-bye, my friend. Wife says she needs attention, plus I'm getting up at 4:30 and go fishing. Good luck, Mr. Wilson. I run from the time the snow starts till the time the snow stops, says Bandit. Shadow Wolf. Fancy seeing you here. But, you know, here's the thing. I know lots of people, not lots. I have in my circle. I have people that I know that have gone bankrupt, literally. Okay. The first thing that took them out was their expenses. If your truck's constantly breaking down, that's an expense, paying for the repairs. But even if you got a full-blown warranty, that's still downtime. You could literally drive a brand new truck off the lot, get on your first load, hit a deer, and be out in a month, right? That's downtime. The bank still wants the money for the truck. Bank still wants the money for the trailer. Your insurance doesn't stop. Nothing stops. Your insurance will go up because you got a claim. That load still has to be delivered, so you have to arrange payment or some kind of compensation to do that. You know, Schneider, you call up Schneider, someone else picks up the trailer, you get charged the relay fee, and that's it. And so it's not just breakdowns. It's not just home expenses. It's everything. It's breakdowns, the what ifs, home expenses, personal expenses, what are luxury and what are assets. There's a really good book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I suggest reading it, listening to it on audiobook. It will teach you the differences between assets and liabilities. And the lower the liabilities, the lower your costs, the lower your operating costs, the lower your costs at home, the easier it is out here. The easier it is out here, the more fun you have out here. You can run your business a lot more efficiently. This is stuff that I've learned the hard way. My Peterbilt cost me 40 grand in 1 year. It was time to get rid of it, and I did. This truck, not only I had repairs, yes. Do I have a warranty? No. $20,000 repair could happen tomorrow. And unless you've got a line of credit or $20,000 in the bank, you have to be prepared for the downtime. Sometimes you need that line of credit to account for the downtime, not the repair. So I don't suggest coming out here the high cost truck. And I don't suggest coming out here with crappy credit or no money in the bank. You will fail. You might be that one guy out of 100 that makes it, and the bird, more power to you. But you found yourself with a lot of good people, and they all have one thing in common. They follow the steps that I've told you. That's how it works. That's how business works. Whether you're selling cupcakes or whether you're driving a truck. Alright, Mayor, take it easy. S-Cargo, what's up? You just sold your house in California, bought a new place in Arkansas. I thought you were going to Oklahoma, S-Cargo. We're out in Arkansas, if you don't mind me asking. We'll cross paths a lot more. Yes, you're the first one to ever heard talk about that book other than my brother. Provost was telling me about that book. I've had friends in the past tell me about that book. And found the audiobook on YouTube, and I listened to it last night, and it blew me away. There's a lot of things I've already started to do, but it's one of those books that really changes your perception of what you think is good and what you think is bad when it comes to money and taxes and what are assets and what are liabilities. Thank you, Ringo. Fort Smith. I got friends in Fort Smith, S-Cargo. That's cool. Very nice, very nice. Is that going to be a pain in the butt to move your authority to Arkansas and all that stuff? I would think that'd be a paperwork nightmare. A $23,000 truck repair? He and I have the same truck? You don't think that scares the crap out of me? And you know, and here's the thing with my advice, right? I give advice, and I'm not Jeffrey Like, I'm not Trucker's Coach, I'm not Kevin Rutherford. All I can tell you is what I've learned by watching others succeed and fail, and what has worked for me. And a little bit's been luck, a little bit's been skill, and a little bit's been just being at the right place. But also because I take calculated risk. You know, I ask myself, what's the worst thing that can happen right now, right? How easy is it to get out? That's the advantage of leasing. You can get out of it easily, right? But here's the problem with that. If it's too easy to get out of, you have trouble figuring out what makes it work. In other words, when times get tough, they will get tough. It's not if, it's when. Schneider like trucking, Advance, anywhere, you will have a rough period. You will have a bad month. You will have a bad week. You will have a breakdown. You will have something. You could have a bad inspection. You could have an insurance hike for no reason. All these different things, right? And if you're leasing with an easy out, it's a lot easier to give up. And if you have to give a truck back to the bank and your credit gets shot, you know what I mean? So when you're back against the wall, that's where you learn to fight. Let me say that again. When your back is against the wall, that's when you really learn to fight. Now, if you want to take minimal risk and you can handle the higher payments, leasing is a good option, right? You see, people are like, well, you don't own the truck. Well, no, but you still own a business, right? Most large companies don't own the buildings that they're in. They lease them. Office space for lease. How many times have you seen that sign, right? Does that mean that they're not a business? Does that mean that they're not a brick and mortar business? No. It just means that they're not property owners, right? Owning a truck is not a big deal, right? If you lease with an easy out, you're going to pay the price for that. If you own the truck, you're going to pay it a different way. Either way, you want to keep the costs down low as much as possible. The full maintenance lease that Jeff had on his bowl is a really good option in my book, because you never have to worry about that $20,000 breakdown, right? Getting a brand new truck, the killer warranty is a good idea if your truck payments are low enough that you can handle a month off if you need to. If you're in a brand new truck and you can't even afford a week off, that's a problem, and it will be a problem, because you could have a death in the family. You could have an injury. I've had an injury. You could have a deer come out. You could hit a deer. You can have a truck take out your hood at the truck stop. You can have another truck take out your hood. No fault of your own. If you don't have enough money to float a truck payment so you have to eliminate or reduce that kind of risk in any kind of business. It really doesn't I can't simplify it any more than that. I really can't. If your truck costs you too much money, you got to figure out why and what can you do to reduce that cost. It can always be worse, right? I think a healthy amount of fear can help an owner-operator run their business more efficiently. Sergeant Ringo, that is no joke. Steelers fan, have a good night. Sometimes you got to make a tough decision. Like, if this truck has a $20,000 breakdown, would I pay for that? Would I just sell the truck and see if I can get into something else? What would I do? I don't know. Do I have $20,000 in the bank? No, I don't. Do I have credit to pay for it? Yes, I do. But what happened? Well, now my truck payment just went from $1,500 a week or a month to $2,800 a month, right? Now my costs are getting up there, right? So now I got to work harder. Now I got to stay out longer. And now I'm a slave to the truck. That's one thing I've always vowed, never to be a slave to the truck. I almost went with an SFI truck, just in case you guys didn't know. But the way I'm run and my needs at home, I'm glad I didn't. And it forced me to suffer a little bit. And it's through suffering that we learn. It's through suffering that you become stronger. Like right now, I'm sitting without an APU. Because I'm getting used to that, right? My APU works fine. It's running good. But I use it every night for my CPAP machine. AC stopped working today. Boy, it was hot. Yeah, Nick, I've been there and done that. I know when it gets 90, this truck just hates it. It was 90 today. Like, people are in Michigan talking about how nice and cool it was in Ohio. Not for me, man. I was in Ohio last night. And, shoot, it was like 75 degrees at like 11 o'clock. It was actually perfect temperature when I went to bed last night, to be honest with you. A company driver at the mega carrier I haul freight for hit my truck with the company trailer. Will I get paid my daily average gross rate for the time my truck is in the shop for repairs? That is between you and your insurance company. You're gonna, I mean, I've heard of people doing that. Sorry, I know it's gross. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Dio. The old hard times make stronger men adage, yep. My rig masters, don't you, John? 50 here. Yeah, are you still in Montana, South Valley? Adam Thomas, good evening. And we've been at this for over an hour. Pale Rider's not in here anymore. Ratman's not in here anymore. They got better things to do. Look. You got to go back to the basics. You know, you have all these formulas and all these. You get on Facebook, there's so much digital noise on how to run a trucking business. You know, don't haul cheap freight. Haul cheap freight. Always keep moving. Sit until it rots on the dock. You know, don't do flatbed. Don't do reefer. Don't do dry man. Do dry man. Do flatbed. I make $4 a mile all miles with my special niche market. You know, all this stuff. There are, what, millions of truck drivers, and there's millions of ways to do this business. And we all lose sight of the actual back to school basics of economy, economics, whatever, however you want to put it. I'm kind of stupid, right? And that is low cost, more profit, money management equals success. It doesn't matter. My battery's about to die. It doesn't matter how much you're profiting. Doesn't matter how much money you're making. If you don't know how to manage your money, you will go down. That's a fact. There are people that become millionaires overnight with lottery. They end up broke 2 or 3 years later because they didn't fix their money management issues. Right? Thermo King, yeah, figures. National News says Class 8 truck sales down 80%. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Costs are getting too high. People went out and bought new trucks when everything was booming. Now it ain't booming. Now it's regular. Now it's regular trucking. The $200,000 or $180,000 389s weren't a good idea for hauling dry van generic freight. Why? Because their costs are too high. Anyways, my phone's about to die. Thanks for watching. This has been a discussion. Pale Rider. I'm glad that I went live for your entertainment. This was only for Pale Rider. I don't care about the rest of you people. This was only for Pale Rider's benefit. Okay? So the person that swatted him, shame on you. And, you know, email me at stevenallington@gmail.com, or Doomytunestransport. That's another one. Doomytunestransport@gmail. And if you have any questions, I think there's links in the description. And I appreciate you guys watching. This has been a good discussion. And, you know, I'm always honest with you guys. You know, is everything peachy, rosy, perfect? No. Name one thing in life that is. So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And until then, be strong. See ya.